This next story is a true story of a Latino Cuban man who had the surprise of a lifetime when he met a Filipina. This story should be used as an example of what the possibilities are when dating, visiting, or traveling in Southeast Asia. Here it goes. My name is Alejandro. I'm from Cuba and I'm 31 years old. I grew up on the island until the age of 19 when my family decided to relocate to the capital of Latin America, guess it, Florida. More specifically, Miami to be exact. It's an ongoing joke amongst us Floridians and Latinos that you can live here without ever having to learn English. And you'll understand what I mean if you've ever visited Hialeah.
Order actually telling a customer to go to another location because that order wasn't placed in Spanish. Take a look.
Order full and no hay nadie que hable inglés.
Spanish being my native language and English being my second. I always had an affinity for getting to know more of the Spanish-speaking world. One of those unpopular destinations when thinking of a Hispanic or Latino country is the Philippines.
¿Qué tal tú?
How are you?
¿Qué tal tú?
¿Qué tal tú? En Chabacano.
I've already visited most of the Spanish-speaking countries, including Spain, La Madre Patria, or homeland for us Cubans. One of my most memorable trips was to the Canary Islands, where my ancestors originated from in Spain. I had a blast in Colombia, for obvious reasons. Mujeres paisas.
Mi amor, hola, ¿cómo estás? ¿Sabes qué? Hoy me desperté con unas ganas de que me hagas el delicioso.
And Puerto Rico, since its dialect and people remind me of home.
¿Tú eres cubana?
Sí, mi amor, yo soy cubana y boricua, las dos cosas.
¿Cubana y boricua las dos?
Sí.
Por favor, necesito que me digas algo con los dos acentos.
Hacer, tú estás bien lindo, puñeta.
I once met a friend named Jose from the Philippines who spoke really good Spanish, and after asking him why you speak so well, he told me he was from Zamboanga, a region of the Philippines that still speaks Spanish, albeit a creolized way. I was fascinated by that and want to visit it ever since.
Estamos viviendo en Sucat, Parañaque. Es ubicado en el sur de Metro Manila, cerca del aeropuerto.
Well, with my current ability to work remotely, I decided it was time to go to Asia. I knew I would need more time there since it was so far away. I've been solo traveling for quite some time now, and I'd say I'm the extroverted type. I can blend into any social environment. I guess that's just how we Latinos are. We're born with the gift of gab. I don't particularly fit the stereotypical Latin American look, oftentimes being mistaken for being from Europe, which makes sense since the majority of Cubans and Puerto Ricans have ancestral ties to Spain and Europe, unlike Central Americans who mostly have an indigenous look. Nestor told me that getting women would be easier for me because of the way I looked, and he wasn't wrong. Any average white dude visiting Asia can score a hot Asian chick that wouldn't look twice his way in the States.
There is nothing more pathetic than a white guy with a Filipino girl.
You mean this is pathetic? Nah, I think I'm the luckiest guy in the world, actually.
I'm a light traveler, a minimalist in fact, and don't like bringing so much on my trip. All I need is a bag with my most prized possession, my laptop, my moneymaker, and a small carry-on. The following week I was set to leave Miami for Manila. I wanted to experience a bit of the capital before I head down south to Zamboanga City. I love to eat, so going to the best local spots was definitely on my itinerary. And since I got the scoop from Nestor, my Filipino buddy, I was hip to all of the best spots. Once finishing exploring Manila for a week, it was time to board a flight south. What amazed me about the Tagalog language was the many Spanish words like cocina for kitchen or trabajo for work. I could only imagine what the Chabacano Spanish Creole would be like when I got to Zamboanga.
Long time no see.
Oh, ya duré contigo no hay mira.
How? Long time no see. How do you say it?
Ya duré contigo no hay mira.
Filipinas are gorgeous, aside from Latinas. I have a soft spot for Asian women. I had an amazing time with a Filipina girl I met the first week there in Manila, but she definitely wasn't girlfriend material, if you know what I mean. I should add that although I prefer meeting women in person in social situations and gatherings, I'd be lying if I said I didn't use dating apps. I was on a few of them like Bumble, Badoo, and Tinder, and my matches were incredible. There were a fair bit of transformals sprinkled in there as well that I had to bob and weave, but all in all, the quality of women was high. Probably not as good as Miami though. I guess I'm a bit biased in that regard, but Filipinas definitely make up for it in their positive attitude and behavior. Something Miami girls could learn a thing or two about. Oftentimes, most of them being the epitome of the definition of what a gold digger is. I'm talking to you girls out there in Brickell. Trust and believe, you'll find out the hard way when dating in South Florida. During my flight from Manila to Zamboanga City, I sat next to this gorgeous Filipina named Rosalinda. As soon as I laid eyes on her, I was mesmerized by her beauty. And for the first time in my life, I felt a bit nervous inside, to start the conversation. And I sat there next to her thinking of a clever opener. And after a while of shooting blanks, I just said screw it and said, "Hello, my name is Alejandro." She then replied with, "I'm Rosalinda." And things started to flow from there. I then followed up with, "Hablas español?" which meant, "Do you speak Spanish?" And she replied, "Yes," enthusiastically. Her face lit up and she asked me in Spanish, "¿De dónde eres?" "Where are you from?" I then said, "Soy cubano," I'm Cuban. Rosalinda then began to tell me how much she enjoyed Cuban culture and food and how she really wanted to visit. She continued by telling me how she learned Spanish and how she was so excited to meet a Latino in person, since the majority of Spanish speakers who come to the island are mostly from Spain. The vibe was awesome between us, and we continued talking until the plane landed. I told her that I was traveling working remotely. She then invited me to go out that evening. Once I settled into my hotel, I was all for it. That night we met in my hotel lobby. Being with her was like being with a Latina since she preferred to only communicate in Spanish, which I couldn't complain about. We had some delicious local food together and went sightseeing. Her friends then joined us and we had a blast together. They were really cool. Once we parted ways, Rosalinda and I talked for a bit and then started walking back to my place. I tried to play it cool, like most of us do, and not ask her to come up, But she said, "I want to see your place. I'm sure you know where this was headed, or where I wanted it to go to." Although I felt the chemistry between us was there, she wasn't overtly touchy-feely, and I could feel she was a bit uncomfortable. It could have been a cultural thing. I wasn't sure, so I let her loosen up on her own. We talked for what seemed like hours until she said it was time to go home. As I walked her to the door, I went in for the kiss goodbye, and like a switch, she went from cold to hot real fast, bro. I mean, we made out as if we were doing it for the first time. I swear these innocent girls never ceased to amaze me. We seemed to boom boom until the sun came up. I literally couldn't get enough. After we finished, we dozed off, and when I woke up, she was gone. But she soon returned with breakfast. So far, all I was seeing was green flags with no red flag in sight. She checked off all the boxes. Physically attractive, a great personality, speaks my mother tongue, and is kind and caring. Once we devoured breakfast, she told me she wanted to show me around the city and had a whole day planned out. What surprised me was the fact that she wanted to do things together the following day, and it felt kind of like we were in a relationship already. I couldn't complain though, and I went along with the plan. I tried every Filipino food you could think of. We managed to visit every place she wanted to go to. This went on for 2 weeks straight since she happened to be on vacation. She dedicated all her time to me. Every night was better than the last, and when Sunday rolled around, Rosalinda told me she loved me and said she didn't expect me to say it in return. I would have said you're crazy to love me that fast, but after spending so much time together with someone, even if it was a short period of time, you can develop feelings really fast. I started to really like her as well. It really surprised me. Rosalinda asked me how long I would stay in the Philippines and whether she was just another holiday girlfriend or someone that I would take seriously. She asked me directly if I wanted to be her boyfriend. And I replied, yes. I mean, it felt genuine this time, although I've lied to other girls in the past when they posed the same question. I extended my stay for a few more months, but needed to fly back to the States for work. When I came back to Miami, I really started to miss Rosa. I knew at that moment that it just wasn't a holiday love or a fling, if you know what I mean, like all the other girls I've been through my whole life. I even asked my family and friends what they thought. My friends told me she's just another green card searching gold digger, but my family was a bit on the fence, so they told me, why don't we have a video call with her? I said, sure, that sounds like a good idea. And once they finished the video call with her, they really felt that she was genuine. So I felt in my gut that it might be a good idea to go through with it. So I flew back to the Philippines with this time with the intention of marrying her. But I'm not going to go out like a sucker like a lot of guys have these days and don't get a prenup done. So I set up a prenup and I went to Rosa and I asked her, what do you think about this? She said without hesitation, yes. And at that point, I was pretty sure that she was the one. So I went ahead with it. I proposed to her that week. I returned to the Philippines in front of her friends and family. They were all so cool and accepting. We decided to have a small wedding, and it went off without a hitch. I'm now on my honeymoon in Thailand, and boy, do I regret getting married. Just kidding. Although no one knows exactly how it's going to turn out for our boy Alejandro, I have a feeling it's going to work out just fine. The strong chemistry between them and the respect and caring Rosalinda shows for him are telltale signs it's a match made in heaven. All the best to Alejandro, and to those out there looking for love, it just might take you getting on a plane and separating yourself from where you grew up to find the right woman for you. Como nuestro hacer Alejandro, el cubano. Good luck to all you out there looking for love in Asia. There aren't always happy endings when dating in Asia. Make sure to check out Emmanuel's dating horror story, with a Thai girl who played the long game right over here, okay? My name's Roberto, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, and share these videos with people that you think might need them, okay? Bye for now. See you guys later.